It's 3:14 a.m. The city outside isn't sleeping. New York never sleeps, right? That's what they sell you in the brochures. But here, in Greenwich Village, it's quiet enough that I can hear my own heart hitting my ribs, like a fist on a locked door. Thump. Thump. Marcus is asleep next to me. I can feel the heat radiating off his back. He's safe. He's solid. He's everything a woman is supposed to want. An architect who builds stable things, who speaks in soft tones, who never pushes. If I reached out, I could touch his shoulder. I could wake him up and say, "Marcus, the cold is back." And he would hold me. He would wrap those long arms around me and tell me I'm in a pre-war building on West 10th Street and that the ghosts aren't real. But I can't touch him. My hands are frozen, literally frozen. I'm lying under a down comforter that cost more than my dad made in a month back in Oakland, and I am shivering so hard my teeth want to chatter. Because when I close my eyes, I'm not here. I'm not the junior PR director at the agency in One World Trade. I'm not the success story. I'm 23 years old again. I am standing in a corner of a club that smells like stale Red Bull and expensive cologne. And I can feel a hand, heavy, damp, possessive, sliding down the silk of my lower back, resting just above the curve of my ass. I can feel the hot breath on my neck. I open my eyes to the ceiling shadows. It's been exactly 1 year. Happy anniversary, Ellie. You survived. But God, looking at the ceiling, I don't feel like a survivor. I feel like a crime scene that someone cleaned up with bleach. But if you shine a black light, you can still see the blood. This is the story of how I died. Not physically. My heart still beats. But the Ellie who walked across that stage at USC, she didn't make it out of that night. To understand why I didn't scream, you have to understand who I was. And you have to understand Chloe. Chloe Whitmore. God, even saying her name tastes like battery acid now. But back then, she was sunlight. We met freshman year in the dorms at Burncrant Residential College. I was the scholarship kid from Oakland, daughter of a mechanic and a housekeeper, terrified I'd fail my classes and lose my funding. I spent my nights at the grind on Figueroa, drinking cheap black coffee and highlighting textbooks until the ink bled through the pages. And Chloe? Chloe was from the suburbs of Chicago, North Shore money. She walked into a room and the air changed pressure. She was loud, messy, brilliant, and she picked me. I don't know why. Maybe she needed a foil. Every queen needs a lady-in-waiting, right? Someone to hold the purse while she dances on the table. I was the responsible one, the sweet one. That's what everyone called me. Ellie is so sweet. Ellie is so harmless. I took pride in that. I was the designated driver. I was the one who held hair back when the tequila hit too hard. I was the vault where secrets went to live. By senior year, we were inseparable. And then came Ryan. Ryan Caldwell, captain of the basketball team, pre-law, son of a Michigan senator. He had that smile that looked like it was practiced in a mirror, perfectly symmetrical, dazzling, and completely empty behind the eyes. When he and Chloe started dating, it was like the merging of two corporations, the power couple of USC. I was the third wheel. I accepted it. I was happy for her. Really. I'd sit in the back seat of Ryan's Range Rover while they held hands in the front, driving down Venice Boulevard towards the beach, the twilight turning the palm trees into black cutouts against a purple sky. I felt lucky just to be included. But there were signs. Small things. A hand lingering too long on my shoulder when he poured me a drink. A joke about how quiet girls are the wildest whispered in my ear while Chloe was in the bathroom. Ryan looking at me, not at my eyes, but at my chest, while talking about tort law. I brushed it off. I told myself I was crazy. He's Ryan Caldwell, I thought. He's dating Chloe Whitmore. Why would he look at me? I'm just Ellie, little, brown-skinned, quiet Ellie in her thrift store sweaters. I gaslit myself for 6 months. I told myself it was friendly, that rich white boys just had different boundaries. I didn't want to ruin it. I didn't want to be the drama. I just wanted to graduate, get my degree, and make my parents proud. I didn't know that keeping the peace was just another way of digging my own grave. Graduation day. May. The California sun was merciless. We were at the Bovard Auditorium. The whole campus was a sea of cardinal and gold. My parents drove down from Oakland in their beat-up Toyota. My dad was wearing his one good suit, sweating through the shirt. My mum was crying, clutching her rosary, looking at me like I was the Virgin Mary herself. I felt heavy. We were lined up in the staging area. The downs were polyester ovens. Chloe was next to me, glowing, fixing her cap. Ryan was there too, hovering. He wasn't graduating that day. He had one semester left, but he was there as the supportive boyfriend. He came up behind us to take a picture. "Squeeze in, ladies," he said. His voice was booming, jovial. He put one arm around Chloe. He put the other arm around me. Standard, right? But then his hand moved. Chloe was laughing at something a friend shouted. Ryan's hand slipped from my shoulder down to my waist, and then lower. His fingers dug into the fabric of my gown, pressing into my hip bone. He pulled me against him, hard. I could feel my buckle of his belt against my hip. I froze. I went rigid, like a rabbit seeing a hawk. I tried to shuffle away, but his grip tightened, just for a second, a warning squeeze. Then he leaned down, his mouth right by my ear. To anyone watching, it looked like he was whispering a congratulation. "You look so good in this robe, Elle," he whispered. The smell of whiskey was already on his breath at 10 a.m. "I bet you're naked underneath. I've been thinking about that all morning." I stopped breathing. He pulled back, slapped me on the back jovially, and grinned at the camera. Click! The photo exists somewhere. I've seen it. Chloe is beaming. Ryan is the all-American hero, and I look like a ghost. My eyes are wide, terrified, staring at the lens like it's a gun barrel. "You okay, Ellie?" Chloe asked, checking her lipstick and her phone reflection. "Yeah," I croaked. "Just the heat." "Don't faint on me, bitch," she laughed. "We have to party tonight." I wanted to go home. I wanted to take off the gown and curl up in my dorm room. But I couldn't. It was the night, the beginning of the rest of our lives. If only I knew how true that was. The party was at the Bazaar Magellan. It's this club near Exposition Park. It's supposed to be trendy. Dim lights, velvet ropes, music that vibrates in your teeth. By 11 p.m. the place was packed. A mix of adrenaline, cheap champagne, and the desperate energy of people who know their childhood is officially over. I was trying to hide. I found a high-top table near a pillar, nursing a vodka soda I didn't drink. Chloe was on the dance floor, a shimmering gold dress spinning under the lights. She was the center of the universe, and Ryan was the shark circling the perimeter. Every time Chloe looked away, he was there. He bumped into me at the bar, accidentally, his chest against my back. He sat next to me at the booth, his thigh pressing against mine, refusing to move even when I shifted to the edge of the seat. "Why are you so quiet tonight, Ellie?" he asked, swirling his drink. His eyes were glassy, malicious. "I'm just tired, Ryan. You're always tired. Or maybe you're just bored." He reached out and tucked a strand of hair behind my ear. His fingers lingered on my neck. His skin was hot, moist. I flinched. "Don't touch me," I whispered. It was the first time I'd said it out loud. He laughed. A low, ugly sound. "Oh, come on. You love the attention. I see the way you look at me. You're jealous Chloe got the rich guy, aren't you?" I felt sick, physically nauseous. I went to the bathroom to splash water on my face. I stared at myself in the mirror. Do I look like I want this? Is it my dress? Is it my makeup? The victim blaming started in my own head before he even finished the job. When I came out, the corridor was empty. The bass from the club was muffled here. Ryan was leaning against the wall, waiting. He blocked my path. "Where you going, Elle?" "Back to Chloe." "Chloe's busy." He stepped closer. He boxed me in. I fumbled for my phone in my clutch. I didn't know what to do. I hit the voice memo up. My thumb shook, but I pressed the red button. I held the phone down at my side, hidden in the folds of my dress. "Ryan, let me pass," I said, trying to keep my voice steady. "You know," he slurred, leaning in, one hand slamming against the wall by my head. "I've always wondered what you sound like when you're not being such a prude. I think you're a freak, Ellie. I think you want me to fuck you right here." "I don't want you," I said. "I'm Chloe's friend." "Chloe doesn't have to know," he whispered. He reached for my waist. "Come on, just one kiss. Let's see if you're as good as you look." I shoved him. "Pard." He stumbled back, laughing. "Feisty. I like it. Stay away from me," I hissed. I ran back into the crowd, the recording still running in my hand. My heart was exploding. I had it. I had the proof. He couldn't gaslight me now. He couldn't say I imagined it. He said it. He said it. I found Chloe. She was at the bar, laughing with a group of sorority sisters. "Chloe." I grabbed her arm. My hands were shaking so bad I almost dropped the phone. "What did you think?" I said to Chloe. There was nothing but Chloe. She turned, her eyes bright and unfocused. "Ellie, where have you been? We're taking shots. I need to talk to you," I said. "Now. Alone." We went to a quieter spot near the emergency exit. The music was still thumping, a dull thud, thud, thud like a headache. "What is it?" Chloe asked, annoyed. "You're ruining the vibe, Ellie." "It's Ryan," I said. Tears started pricking my eyes. He cornered me. He's been touching me all night. He tried to kiss me in the hall." Chloe's face went blank. She didn't look shocked. She looked calculated. "You're drunk," she said flatly. "I haven't had a drop," I said. "Chloe, listen to me. He's aggressive. He said he wanted to sleep with me. He said you wouldn't have to know. I held up the phone. I recorded it. Just listen." I pressed play. The audio was grainy, muffled by the bass, but his voice was unmistakable. "I think you're a freak, Ellie. Chloe doesn't have to know." I watched her face. I expected horror. I expected her to hug me, to storm out, to dump him. I expected my best friend. Instead, she looked at the phone, then looked at me. Her eyes were cold, ice cold. She laughed. It wasn't a happy laugh. It was sharp. "Wow," she said. "You really are desperate." I blinked. "What?" "You think I don't know?" she sneered. "Ryan told me. He told me weeks ago that you've been coming on to him, sending him DMs, brushing up against him. That's a lie!" I screamed. "Chloe, that is a lie." "Is it?" She crossed her arms. "He texted me 5 minutes ago. He said you cornered him in the hallway, that you tried to force yourself on him and he pushed you away. He said you threatened to make up a story if he didn't slip with you." My mouth fell open. The air left the room. He had beaten me to it. He knew what he did, and he spun the narrative before I could even take a breath. But the recording... I stammered. "Context, Ellie," she snapped. "You probably cut out the part where you begged him." "You're pathetic," turning to devastation. Ryan walked up then. He looked sad, performatively sad. "Chloe, babe," he said, putting a hand on her waist. He looked at me with pity. "I'm sorry you had to deal with this." I tried to let her down easy. "You're a monster." I whispered. "Don't talk to him." Chloe stepped in front of him, protecting him. "You've been jealous of me since freshman year. You just wanted what I have. Well, you can't have him. You're just a sad, lonely little girl from Oakland who thought she could play in the big leagues." People were watching now. The circle was forming. "Get out of here, Ellie," Ryan said, his voice smooth, commanding. "You're making a scene." "Yeah, leave," Chloe said. She turned to the crowd. "Can you believe her? Trying to steal my boyfriend on graduation night." The laughter started. It rippled through the room. "Homewrecker," someone coughed. "Desperate," a girl whispered. I stood there, stripped naked in front of everyone I knew. My integrity, my loyalty, my love for my friend, all twisted into something ugly. I turned and ran. I didn't stop running until I hit the pavement outside. I vomited into a trash can on the corner of Figueroa and 30th. I was alone. The next 24 hours were a blur of digital violence. I blocked them. But you can't block the world. Screenshots of texts I never sent, faked, obviously. Memes with my face from the graduation photo, the one where I looked terrified, captioned with things like, "When he rejects you," or "Psycho stalker." The group chat with all our friends. I was removed. But not before I saw the messages. I always knew she was weird. She's just bitter she's poor. I packed my dorm room in 4 hours. I didn't go to the department brunch. I didn't say goodbye to my professors. I drove my Honda Civic back to Oakland in silence. No music, just the sound of tires on asphalt. I spent the summer in my childhood bedroom, staring at the wall. I deleted my Instagram. I deleted my Facebook. I changed my number. I got the job in New York in August. It was a lifeline, a PR firm in the financial nature of survival. I moved. I ran away. I told my parents I just wanted a fresh start. I didn't tell them their daughter was a pariah in the USC alumni network. New York is good for hiding. Everyone here is from somewhere else. Everyone here is running from something. I built a new Ellie, Elena. I go by Elena now. Elena wears sharp blazers. Elena speaks with authority. Elena doesn't get drunk. Elena doesn't have female friends she gets too close to. I met Marcus 6 months ago. He thinks I'm focused. He thinks I'm private. He doesn't know that when we have sex, I have to keep my eyes open. Because if I close them, I smell whiskey and stale Red Bull. If I close them, I feel a hand on my lower back that isn't his. I don't know where Chloe is. I don't know where Ryan is. Sometimes, late at night, I have the urge to Google them, to see if they're married, to see if he did it to someone else. Because he will. Predators don't stop. But I don't look. I can't. If I see them happy, if I see them winning, I think I might shatter for good. So, here we are. The anniversary. The sun will be up soon. The sky over Brooklyn is turning that bruised purple color. I have a ritual. I'll get up in an hour. I'll shower. I'll put on my armor. The silk blouse. The heels. I'll go to work. I'll crush a presentation. But at 6 p.m., I will walk out of One World Trade. I'll take the one train up to Christopher Street. I'll walk to that little park in the village, the one with the cracked pavement and the old men playing chess. I'll sit on the bench facing west 4th, and I will say it out loud. Because for a whole year, the voice in my head, Chloe's voice, Ryan's voice, has been telling me it was my fault. That I provoked it. That I was jealous. That I am the villain of the story. So I have to say it to the air, to the trees, to the concrete. I didn't do it. I didn't want it. I was just there. And then I'll say, I lost her. But I didn't lose me. The Ellie from the photos is gone. She died in that club. The woman on the bench is someone else. She's harder. She's colder. She doesn't trust easily. She checks the exits when she walks into a room. She records conversations when men raise their voices. That she's alive. The sun comes up. The traffic starts. Marcus shifts in the bed next to me. I close my eyes. The cold is still there, deep in my bones. I don't think it will ever fully leave, but I pull the blanket up. I take a breath. I survived the night, and for now, that has to be enough. You're wondering why I'm telling you this, aren't you? You're wondering why I'm sitting here, staring at the ceiling of a Manhattan apartment that costs $4,000 a month, dissecting a night that happened 365 days ago. You probably think I'm stuck. You probably think I'm broken, but you're looking at it all wrong. See, I've been thinking a lot about the concept of damage. We talk about trauma like it's a crack in a vase, a flaw in the structural integrity. We look at people who have been through the fire and we pity them. We say, oh, poor thing, she's got baggage. But let me ask you a question, a real question. Stop and answer it in the dark of your own room. Is a sword damaged because it was hammered in a forge? Is a diamond broken because it was crushed under the weight of the earth until it turned hard and cold and brilliant? I don't think so. I've spent the last 12 months conducting an autopsy on the girl I used to be, Ellie Vasquez. I laid her out on the slab of my memory and I cut her open. And do you know what I found? I found softness. I found a fatal, pathetic softness. I found a girl who believed that if she followed the rules, if she was kind, if she smiled and swallowed her discomfort, the world would be kind back. What a dangerous, stupid thing to believe. That night at the Bazaar Magellan didn't destroy me. It evolved me. It was a software update. A painful one, sure. The kind that crashes the system and makes the screen go black for a while. But when the system rebooted, the bugs were gone. The lag was gone. I want you to look at your own life. Look at the people you trust. Your best friend, your partner, the person you share your location with. You think you know them. You think that if the world turned on you, they would stand in front of the firing squad and take the bullet. I thought that about Chloe. I loved her. I didn't just like her. I anchored my identity to her. But here is the cold hard data I've extracted. Loyalty is a currency, and like any currency, it devalues the moment the market crashes. Chloe didn't betray me because she hated me. She betrayed me because the cost of believing me was too high. Believing me meant losing the golden boy. Believing me meant disrupting the social hierarchy. Believing me meant admitting that the world she cultivated, the perfect, shiny world of wealth and influence, was rotting from the inside out. It was an economic decision. She liquidated her stock in Ellie to save her investment in Ryan. And Ryan? I don't hate him anymore. Hating him requires energy. Hating him implies he's a person. He isn't a person. He is a force of nature. He is a shark. A shark doesn't hate the seal. It just eats. Men like Ryan. Men who take. Men who push. Men who view boundaries as suggestions. They are the apex predators of our society, and the mistake I made, the mistake Ellie made, was thinking she could swim in the same water and not bleed. So, tell me, am I not smarter now? I work in PR now. Public relations. It's poetic, really. My job is literally to control the narrative, to take a disaster and spin it into a triumph, to decide what the truth is. It's not funded for the truth. Every day, I walk into that glass tower at One World Trade, and I manipulate perception. And I am excellent at it. I am the best in my department. Why? Because I learned the lesson that they don't teach you in textbooks at USC. I learned that the truth doesn't matter. Facts are irrelevant. The recording on my phone, the literal audio evidence of his confession, it didn't matter. What mattered was the story, and his story was better. His story had power, money, and social capital behind it. My story was just the whining of a scholarship girl who didn't know her place. I have learned to build better stories. I have learned that silence is not a shield, it is a target. I have learned that you never, ever enter a room without knowing where the exit is. And you never enter a conversation without knowing what leverage you hold. Marcus thinks I'm mysterious. He loves that I don't talk about my past. He thinks it makes me deep. He doesn't realize that my silence isn't mystery. It's a fortress. I have built a wall around the soft parts of me. A wall so high and so thick that nothing can get in. Not love, not pain, not betrayal. Is that sad? Maybe, but is it safe? Yes, God, yes. And isn't safety what we're all really chasing? We pretend we want passion, we pretend we want adventure. But when the lights go out, when the adrenaline fades, what we want is to know that the floor isn't going to open up and swallow us whole. We want to know that the person sleeping next to us isn't holding a knife. I have guaranteed my own safety by removing the variable of trust. I don't trust anyone. Not really, not fully. And because I don't trust, I can't be betrayed. It is a perfect closed loop. An equation with no variables. Sometimes, I look at young girls on the subway. They're loud, they're messy, they're wearing their hearts on their sleeves, giggling at texts, crying over boys who don't matter. They are so open, they are so porous. Part of me wants to shake them. I want to grab them by the shoulders and scream, "Close up, harden your shell, the world is coming for you." But another part of me, the part that I keep locked in the basement of my mind, looks at them and feels a phantom ache, like an amputated limb. I remember what it felt like to be that light, to be that unburdened. But I can't go back. You understand that, right? Once you've seen machinery behind the curtain, you can't believe in the magic trick anymore. I saw the machinery. I saw how quickly love turns to hate. I saw how quickly best friend turns to prosecutor. I saw how quickly a good guy turns into a monster the second you tell him no. So, I killed Ellie. I had to. She was too weak to survive in this environment. I suffocated her with a pillow of ambition and apathy. And in her place, I built this. They built Elena. Elena is bulletproof. Elena is successful. Elena has a 401k and a diversified portfolio and a boyfriend who respects her boundaries because she set them with razor wire. You might call this a tragedy. You might look at my life, my solitary walks, my frozen hands, my inability to sleep without a light on, and say, she lost. But I need you to understand something. I need you to really hear me. I am still here. I am breathing. I am paying my bills. I am walking through the fire, and I am not burning. Isn't that what strength is? Strength isn't about being happy. Happiness is for children and golden retrievers. Strength is about endurance. Strength is about looking at the abyss and saying, you didn't get me. You took a piece of me, yes. You scarred me, yes. But you didn't get all of me. So, don't cry for me, please. I despise pity. Pity is just another form of condescension. Instead, learn from me. Take a look at your own life. Look at the people you think will save you, and ask yourself, if the lights went out, if the music stopped, if it was just your word against theirs, would you survive? I did. I am the survivor. I am the winner. I say it to myself every morning in the mirror while I apply my lipstick. I am the winner. If I say it enough times, if I say it with enough conviction, maybe one day the cold will go away. Maybe one day I'll believe it. But until then, I will wear this armor. I will sharpen my edges, and I will never ever let anyone touch me without my permission again. I am smarter now. I am stronger now. I am alone now, and that is the price of admission. That is the cost of living in the real world. I paid it. Did you?